Welcome to Daily Steps from One Extraordinary Marriage, where we outline simple steps that you can take to have the ultimate marriage adventure. I'm Tony DeLorenzo, your co-host, along with my beautiful wife, Elisa. In today's show, we answer the question, is it wrong for a husband or wife to tell his or her spouse that they should lose weight?
This can be a very, very loaded question.
I agree.
It's actually one that as I read, I'm like, just that intake. Because there are so many factors that we don't know involved in where the spouse is coming from when they submitted this question. We don't know the circumstances around this. But if we just take the question at face value.
Let's do that.
Is it wrong to tell your spouse that they should lose weight? And I don't know if you've heard this before, but I'm going to make the assumption that most people have heard that you can't change another person, you can only change yourself.
That is so true.
And so when we step into this place of saying, you need to lose weight, that's really telling another person, you need to change. And I know how I feel when somebody talks to me about something that I might be sensitive about. I will almost immediately go on the defensive, especially if I haven't asked you to speak into my life around that particular topic.
And I will have to say, in our 22 plus years of marriage, this has come up at times, and Elisa is speaking the truth. She's gone defensive. There are better ways for me to have shared this instead of in a pointing her out way, which causes the defense mechanism to rear up.
And I think that's true for a lot of people. This is a concern that so many spouses have. You may see your spouse gaining weight. I don't know what the cause.
I was going to say there are circumstances, right? I mean, we've even in our years. I mean, we've fluctuated weight, highs and lows, and different seasons of life, stress. I mean, just making bad choices, eating poorly, drinking, a bunch of sodas, beers, hanging out and drinking fancy espresso drinks with tons of sugar and milk and all that sort of stuff. So we in our own marriage have fluctuated. This
is one of those questions that instead of focusing on the weight, like you need to lose weight, it really becomes, what are you concerned about? Right? If this is something that you want to bring up to your spouse, I'm not going to tell you if it's right or wrong. I'm telling you that if you point blank come out and say it, it's probably not going to go well for you. But I think underlying it is this concern. And I don't know, are you concerned about their health?
Right. Could it be we're looking at type 2 diabetes, heart attack, some other physical ailments due to the overweight?
Right. Are you worried about, the dreams that you have for your future together? Are you worried about those being cut short because your spouse isn't able to do things? I mean, we've had those emails come in about, a spouse who is very overweight. And so, you can't travel together because it's physically exhausting or physically demanding, or, it simply can't happen because the person isn't comfortable traveling. So are you looking at those future dreams and you're like, okay, are we going to be able to realize these dreams because of the weight? Is there something else that's a concern to you? Is there, we've had the emails come in that says, my partner has gained all this weight and I'm not attracted to them.
Yeah.
Right. So there's a lot of other stuff going on under just the you need to lose weight statement. And I would say before you even start pointing out the weight, you better know where you're coming from first, because you got to check yourself. Again, you can only change yourself. You can't change another person. And so you've got to be able to look at, where am I coming from? What's my motivation in even bringing this up? And like Tony said, there have been times when he's come right out and said, hey, what's going on with your weight? And that's been when it's been heavy. And that's been when I had crazy metabolism, not intentionally. And I got down to looking like a skeleton. Been all up and down in our marriage. When I look back, it's kind of been a roller coaster. What we need to realize, and sometimes we lose sight of this in marriage, because even though the letters are the same between the word partner and parent, the truth of the matter is that you are not your spouse's parent. They've already got parents. They've got people that have been telling them what to do, probably for the majority of their life. I don't care if you're an adult and married, your parents still feel privileged to tell you what to do. When the two of you said, I do, you became partners. And we really need to be aware of how we speak to our partners and what the level of respect and care is that we bring into our marriages. Because I know from personal experience that if I'm treated with respect and care and things are brought to me out of a place of concern, I'm much more open to at least have the conversation. I may not change still, but I will invite the conversation as opposed to somebody pointing out what I perceive to be a flaw and what feels like an attack. And so we've got to be in this mindset of saying, if this person was somebody I was doing business with, if this was a colleague at work, how would I handle that conversation? Because my guess is you would handle it with a lot more care than you feel is due to your spouse. Right? Because so often we're like, oh, well, we know them. We're comfortable with them. I can just say whatever I want. They've promised to love me forever. I'm at liberty. You're not at liberty to say whatever thought pops into your head. There's still another human being who has very real thoughts, very real feelings, very real concerns and perceptions about how they see the world. And truth and grace walk hand in hand.
For you, it may be that the communication you have with your spouse, you're struggling it in. So check out hezigs, shezags.com.